The air's thick with that frozen electric hum you only get deep in a Detroit winter. Crawling toward kickoff on a Ford Field, night fans bundled up, breath visible, clenching hopes tighter than the snow gripping the streets outside. Somewhere, between the roar of metal factories and gospel choirs in the neighborhood, a quiet shuffle's happening on the chessboard. You can almost feel it, rolling under the roar of the crowd like a secret heist. Something big, something that could tilt. This whole year, lean in. It's the kind of storm you sense before the lightning cracks. We've been battered by edge rushers ghosting past our tackles all last season. Felt the sting after that leg snap on Aiden Hutchinson, like a bar fight where we left too many rings unanswered. You remember late fourth quarter, play our hopes, hanging by a thread, and the pass rush just wouldn't show up. Now, with a Detroit winter thaw on the horizon, the front office is stirring the pot again, eyes sharp on the prize. And if you're tailgating at the Krispy Kreme Pavilion or setting up your spot for the home opener, keep this closeted rumor close. It's got teeth. The chatter broke like a fastball down the pipe this Sunday afternoon, Ian Rapoport dropping the bomb that the Bengals might be ready to deal away Trey Hendrickson, their all-pro sack king. Yeah, the sack king. This is the guy who turned quarterback nightmares into a career highlight reel. And just like that, the energy shifts. Lions aren't just sniffing around here. We're second in line. Vegas oddsmakers are seriously flashing Honolulu blue and silver cash, sitting at plus 800 odds right behind the Carolina Panthers. The Bengals still favor keeping him, but contract talks hit that notorious wall and the whispers of trade calls in from Atlanta to Indianapolis are buzzing. And that's where it tilts. The Lions front office is no stranger to wheeling and dealing on defense. Remember snagging Zadarius Smith off Cleveland last season? That move was a shot of adrenaline straight to the pass rush, but Smith isn't locked in yet. Brad Holmes has been clear. There's interest, but expectations have to sync up like a two-step in the snow. So you wonder what if Detroit lands? Both Hendrickson and Smith? Imagine that. Two edge guys who don't just rush the passer, they wreck it. Hendrickson, even at 31, led the league in sacks last year. And with nearly $48 million in cap space, the Lions have the firepower to make a play that shakes the division. You gotta appreciate the irony, too. Last year, our pass rush dried up, right after Hutchinson went down. Hendrickson's presence isn't just about numbers. It's about shifting the punch from defense to offense in tight games, turning pressure into turnovers, and giving the secondary a chance to breathe. Remember when we lost that wild card battle because coverage collapsed under heat? This guy's wire-to-wire pressure could be the key to rewriting that script. And with Ben Johnson's defense scheming to mix heavy pressure with smart coverage, the addition of an edge marathoner like Hendrickson speaks volumes about where this team wants to head. Oh, and picture the locker room whispers if Hendrickson lands here. Maybe after film session someone cracks, "So, we just hired a guy who makes QBs reconsider their life choices." Cool. Yeah, the guy's not just a flash in the pan. He's a relentless bulldozer who wears down tackles like they're made of Detroit's rusted steel and grit. If he gets here, who's losing snaps? Probably the guys who ghosted last year, the ones who couldn't finish drives. And hey, if there's Zadarius Smith comes back and that combo lines up from day one, defensive nightmares for the NFC North will be waking up in cold sweats. But hold-up trade talks like these, they're never clean or simple. The Bengals want impact players or top picks in return. That ain't pocket change. So while the idea of Hendrickson rocking the Honolulu blue brings chills, it's still a rumor, a big maybe stirred by money, contracts, and cap gymnastics. Yet, if Detroit plays this right, the ripple effect is massive. Who gets bumped off the depth chart? What if this pushes other free agents or draft picks out the door? Could this push us deeper into a defensive revolution without tanking the salary cap? The stakes are high, and the playground is watching. We're 10 seconds till the whistle blows on this saga. And if Hendrickson waltzes through these Detroit gates, it could be the jolt this team's been clawing towards since those near misses and heartbreaks. The Bengals' asking price hangs like a shadow, but the payoff? We'd finally be stacking the deck with a pass rush more fierce than a Motown night in August. The clock's ticking. Fans, are we about to flip the narrative from wounded last year to unstoppable this year? Keep your drinks closed, because this off-season has a pulse, and it's beating fast. Right through the heart of Detroit. Listen up. Lion-hearted, this isn't just about adding a star to our front line. It's the raw grit that stirs the soul of Ford Field on game day. This is payback for every heart-stopping, inch-by-inch battle we fought since 0 to 16. Every comeback, every prayer etched into our DNA. Hendrickson's sack leader badge isn't just about raw stats. It's a warning shot, a promise that Detroit's taking no prisoners this season. And if we land him, it's not just pressure. It's a tidal wave, a swarm that leaves quarterbacks trembling, scrambling for answers in our defensive chaos. The front office may be talking cap space and draft picks, but what's truly at stake here is pride. This city's relentless spirit that's carried us through Barry's glory days, Orlovsky's guts, and those heartbreaks that scarred us but never broke us. As they hum the trade negotiations and meetings, you've got to feel that old rush, that pulse pounding, knowing our defense could go from leaky to ferocious overnight, transforming what's been a wobbly front into an impenetrable wall. And here's where it cuts deeper. Imagine Hendrickson, standing shoulder to shoulder with Hutchinson, both relentless, both wide to dismantle any offense daring to eye our weak spots. It's a chess game of inches, with injuries and cap hits on one side and the dreams of a division crown on the other. We're talking about the ripple effect, the potential bump in snaps for guys like James Houston, the unproven yet fierce edge rusher waiting for his shot, who might suddenly see his shot shrink if Hendrickson comes in. And that playful little voice in the back of every Lions fan's mind, whispering of redemption stories written on the steel canvas of Motown's grit. Trading for impact isn't just a gamble. It's planting a flag, a declaration that Detroit is no longer content with being the underdog punching above its weight, but with the Bengals holding firm, demanding impact players or premium picks. The question looms, does Holmes see the risk-reward balance clear enough to strike the deal? That rewires our defense into a nightmare for NFC quarterbacks. This could be the move that finally turns us into playoff predators, rather than just specters clawing at the postseason's door. Yet, amid the chaos, you feel it, those chilling echoes of last season's collapse, where fragile pass rush crumbled under pressure, haunting even the grittiest Lions. Now, if Hendrickson enters the fold, it's not just about putting pressure on the quarterback. It's about shifting the whole narrative, making the NFC North rethink their plans, forcing rivals to grasp that Detroit's leaping forward, hungry and armed with steel resolve. But wait, there's a shadow moving behind the curtain, a whisper of urgency that's almost too quiet to hear. What if this trade triggers a domino effect, bumping a prize defender to free agency, forcing cap gymnastics into a frenzy, or unintentionally unbalancing the depth chart? Because in this game, even the biggest moves can ripple out, flipping the entire roster's future in a heartbeat. It's the kind of gamble that screams, tension. Will Holmes bite on the price tag? Or will this remain a tantalizing what if, a whispered legend in the making? Because if the Lions seriously pull it off, if Hendrickson storms the Ford Field turf, the whole division better take notice. This isn't just a win-now move. It's the dawn of a new era, one forged by grit, steel, and the relentless drive to etch our name into the NFC North's haunted halls. The clock's ticking, and you can almost hear it the moment when the Lions front office makes the call, and the entire league holds its breath, watching as Detroit commits to rewriting its destiny with an impact that leaves opponents shaken, grasping for answers, wondering if this is the year our past finally catches up with our future. Honestly, as a Lions fan, I've seen enough heartbreak to know sometimes the biggest gamble is what takes us from being a punchline to a legend. And don't forget, if Holmes pulls this off, it's not just a deal. It's a statement, one that shouts that Detroit is here for the long haul, hungry to claim what's ours, and this time, nothing's stopping us. So buckle up, because if Hendrickson lands in Motor City, we're about to find out whether our gritty dreams can finally outgrow the cold. Dark nights of doubt, because this could be the start of something legendary, the moment when the NFL's next chapter is written not in sidelines, but in steel, sweat, and relentless pursuit. And trust me, fans, we'll want to see how this story ends, because the next play, it's about to change everything. And that roar you hear isn't just the crowd, it's Detroit roaring back, hungry, fierce, and finally fearless.